Indeed, it is a pleasure to talk to students because basically I'm a teacher. Teacher is one who has no retirement at all. When he introduced me, he said that the former Vice Chancellor, the former chairman, but you will never say the former teacher. Once a teacher, ever a teacher. So I would like to be known as a teacher. And Jonathan asked me to talk on administration and leadership. You know who is Saint Chavara? Yes. Who is he? Good. Then, whether he was a leader or an administrator? Leader. Good. What do you mean by a leader? Yes. Leader is one who leads. Oh, she is very intelligent because she has given me an answer which cannot be contested at all. A person who leads is a leader. Thank you very much. But we have to differentiate between these two terms. The administrator and leader. And you rightly pointed out that Saint Chavara is a leader. He is considered one of the leading figures in the Renaissance movement of Kerala. And you might have learned at least something about the Renaissance movement of Kerala. It was during the period of Renaissance we introduced a system of education that gives opportunity to one and all to learn divergent views and different philosophies and divergent activities. But unfortunately, all our efforts to make leaders among the students failed miserably because after the education they want to be the administrators, not the leaders. So as you have said that Chavara was a leader. Why he is called as a leader? Because it was Saint Chavara who visualized a new system of education in Kerala. Earlier, we had a mode of education that was known as Gurukula tradition. In Gurukula tradition, the students have to go to the residence of the teacher and he or she has to learn whatever the teacher gives to them. It is more or like a teacher-confined system of education. Because it is the teacher who decides what is to be learned and how it is to be learned and what should be the scope and limit of the knowledge which a student is expected to possess. But Saint Chavara did a paradigm shift in the very mode of education because he introduced the Padashala tradition. It was in 1836 or 34? 36, I think so. It was in 1836 he established a Sanskrit Padashala. What is a Padashala? And school. What is its important? A common space has been located. Both the students and the teachers were invited to that common space. The teacher and the taught can unite there and get educated. Earlier, it was a teacher-centric system of education. And in the teacher-centric system of education, you have to go and find out your guru and get educated from his mouth alone, and your scope and limit have been fixed by the scope and limit of the knowledge possessed by a single person. But the system of Padashala or the school system introduced a new system of learning. That means a common space is there where the teacher and taught have to get united and they have to interact with one another and learn more things. So, the teaching and learning have become a process of dialogue. Teaching can never be a debate. There should never be a debate between the teacher and taught, as it has been easily misunderstood and misinterpreted and even delivered by the teachers and the students that it is a debate. What is the difference between dialogue and debate? In a debate, the aim is to defeat the other. The other is your enemy and he is to be defeated. But in a dialogue, it is a sharing business. You have to share whatever you have with you with the rest, and you will get benefited by the rest. So there is no question of any victory in dialogue. But there is always the victory and defeat in debate. Saint Chavara introduced a new system of pedagogy which believed in dialogue. That means you are free to ask questions. You may not be able to get answers for all your questions. But your right to ask questions should be retained. And the teacher may not be able to satisfy you with the correct answers as far as you are concerned. But the teacher is there. And the teacher must be there to help you. But ultimately, you have to find the answer by yourselves. So in a dialogue, there is the learning process. Dialogue should not be a coaching. Now we are gifted with coaching centers rather than learning centers. In coaching, you are drilling, repeatedly drilling. You have to learn this. This is the way you have to learn. You have to learn. A plus B the whole square is equal to A plus B the whole square is equals. Or Akbar was a great king. 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 So you are learned that Akbar was a great king, but you have not learned why he was great. In the learning process, you have to learn why Akbar is great. That aspect has often been ignored by the coach. The coach is one who tells the same thing to you. A teacher is one who tells too many things to you, and you have to learn it by yourself. Then the third aspect Saint Chavara introduced in the system of education is that it is the duty of the teacher to take the horse to the riverside. But the real function of the teacher is to make the horse to drink from the well towards which it has been directed by you. So the teacher can invite the students to the system of learning. But what is to be learned is to be decided by whom? By the students. So the students have to get learned. In the process of learning, there is the process of assimilation. Once it is assimilated with you, you will never forget it. That's why it is said that a teacher discovers his student and the student discovers his or her teacher. And once you have discovered a teacher inside the classroom, you will never forget him or her. I was not a good student in mathematics up to 7th standard. When I joined as a student in the high school section, I got two wonderful teachers. One, Pushpam Davis, she is no more. And another, Baby Kamalam, she is still there. And they taught me mathematics is one of the easiest subjects which a student can learn. See, After 50 to 50 years, I do remember my teachers because they taught me to assimilate mathematics as the part and parcel of my life, and still it remains in me. Okay? So a teacher is there. A teacher is one who infuses self-confidence. The fourth point he introduced. The teacher is one who infuses the self-confidence in the students. So, he is considered a leader because he visualized a new system of education which was absolutely absent up to that time in the society. So, a leader is one who must be able to make new horizons and who must be able to reveal the new horizons of learning process to the students. But who is an administrator? Administrator is one who moves within the frames designed by someone else. The ultimate aim of most of our students is to get inducted as a member of the Indian Administrative Service, forgetting the fact that a person with an IAS is not a leader but only an administrator because he is expected to move within the frames designed by the lawmakers. But a leader is one who makes the law. How is it possible to make laws? If you want to make laws, you must have a clear vision of the goals to be achieved by you. There is that goal. And that goal is to be achieved. You have to move to that goal to get it assimilated within yourself. So how is it possible? That is the next question. Then a leader must be able to show the path. This is the path to that goal. The third aspect is that a leader should be a good communicator. He should be able to communicate the ends and means, the goals and the path to that goals to his followers in a convincing manner. So, a leader is one who must be a visionary and who must have definite visions before him and who must be able to show the right goal towards which we have to move. Then he has to say that this is the path to which we have to move to that end. If I quote an internationally renowned example, before 2000 years, a person came on the face of the earth and said that there is the goal of humankind. That goal is the heaven. The heaven is the goal. Then his followers asked, okay, Master, what is the path to that heaven? He said them, love. It is the love that is the path to heaven. Then you can hope for it. And now I think that you may be able to recollect the name of that great leader. Who is he? Who is he? Louder, please. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. But I am fortunate to get the brilliant student like you. So communication makes more easy here in this context. But unfortunately, Jesus was not a gifted person like me, so he had to communicate with the illiterate, rural and rustic people who was totally unaware of any language systems. Especially he had to communicate with the fisher folk. And his most important and most trusted, reliable disciple, Peter. Peter asked him, Master, you said about heaven many times, but I don't know what heaven is. So tell me, what do you mean by heaven? Then he told them that heaven is like a net that includes all fish. Heaven is a net that includes all fish. He was communicating to the fisher folk. So the fisher folk should know what is meant by net and what is meant by fish, and how fish is included in the net. So the communication made more easy. That is another aspect, that a teacher should be able to communicate to his students in the contextual language. That is very important. And this theory of inclusion, or the philosophy of inclusion, which says that heaven is all inclusive. I thought many times of myself when I was standing before my postgraduate students. Some unfortunate fellow, due to the position of all the stars in unfavorable position in his Jataka, he might have asked a question, Sir, will you please tell me what is meant by all inclusiveness? That would be the end of asking questions as far as his life is concerned, because I would definitely have terrorized him with all technical terms which could not be understood by him. But Jesus never used such technical terms. He never used philosophical terms, but he used concrete contextual terms to communicate his experience of heaven. Again he asked, Oh Master, you said about love. What is meant by that love? He told them, love thy enemy. Very easy to love your enemy. Love thy enemy does not mean that you have to generate enemies from morning to noon and you have to love them from noon to evening. Never. You have to love a person without having the discrimination of enmity and friendship. There is no question of friends and foes when you believe in love. That love is there, and if you are ready to practice love, then you must be able to attain the goal, that is heaven. That's why still he remains as an internationally renowned communicator and leader. I can cite another example of great leaders. I am talking about great leaders. And that leader is, no doubt, you might have heard of him. He is Mr. M.K. Gandhi. Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. What was his aim? What was his goal? Yes? I'm not able to hear you. Louder, please. Independence. What is the technical term he used? Swaraj. What is the term? Swaraj. In 1916, when he was invited to address the gathering of the International Congress, the national movement at that time, he declared that our aim is the attainment of Swaraj. Swaraj means self-rule. It is a multi-dimensional term. One has to rule oneself. Self-rule means you have to rule yourself. First thing. The second aspect is that a group of people have got every right to rule by themselves. So he said, India should be an independent country and we should be able to rule ourselves. And our people are competent and eligible to rule ourselves. So you British people, please get away from our land. So Swaraj was the aim towards which he wanted to lead his country. Then the people asked him, okay, Mahatma Ji, what is the path that leads you to Swaraj? He said, Ahimsa, the non-violent methods. And the non-violence is the path by which one is able to attain Swaraj. And he communicated his people. And he used the technical terms which he generated from the context in which he lived. The London Times reporter once asked him, Mr. Gandhi, why should you use Rama instead of God? Why can't you use God? Why you refuse to use the term God and you use the term Rama instead of God? Then he said, if I use the term God, my people won't be able to understand the meaning of that term because that is alien to them, that is foreign to them. But if I use Rama, they must be able to understand what exactly is meant by me. So it is a concrete contextual term. And a teacher must be able to communicate things, ideas, philosophies, principles, formula, and everything in a contextual language system. If I am able to communicate with you in a contextual language system, then you must be able to understand everything that I said. If you are not able to follow me, the fault, dear friends, is not with you, but within my stars, because those stars are unfavorable to me, to make me more and to make me to get more and effective mode of communication. So I am the responsible person. I am the sinner, not you. So what I am telling is that these are the qualities to be possessed by a leader. The next question is whether you want to be an administrator or a reader, or a leader. Be honest to yourself. You forget about all the academic members who present here. You forget about your teachers. You forget about the presence of Jonathan. But you tell me whether you want to be a leader or an administrator. Louder, please. Leader. How many, please raise your hands. How many of you wants to be a leader? Raise your hands. All of them want to be administrators. All of them wants to be, majority of the students present here wants to be administrators rather than leaders. Power. No, the power is with the leader, not with the administrator. Who is more powerful? Whether the person who makes the legal system or the person who obeys the legal system? Now, political power is, power is in everything. What is the highest form of power? What is the highest form of power? Money? The positions? Wisdom. Wisdom is the highest form of power. A wise man is always have got control over those who are not wise. So wisdom, That is the highest form of power. Political power is impermanent. It can come and go. Today you may be a minister. Next day you may be a beggar. That happens so. But if you are a wise man, that wisdom never goes waste. So, my suggestion to you is that you should become the leaders, not the administrators. And I am sure that there is potential in you to become leaders. You belong to a gifted group of the students of the Indian society. You are supported by your parents, and the teachers have got very great expectations among you. The society also respects you as very serious students. So it is your primary duty to lead the society to the destinations that you would like to lead. If you are a scientist, be a leader among the scientists, not an administrator. I can cite the example. H2O equals water, you know it. And you are conducting the same experiment in your lab, conjoining the hydrogen and oxygen in the exact proportion, then you will get water. Are you a leader in there or an administrator? You are only an administrator. So, that's only the training, the practice. And all the training and practices are for you to make you leaders. So, if you are a leader, I am quite sure you should never be a job seeker. Rather, you should be a job generator. All the students should be job generators in future, because India is going to be one of the third richest countries in the world in the next 5 or 10 years. And when you attain the prime of your youth, you will be gifted with a very good economic system. Yes, it is not the time to stop my speech, because I am in need of some more time. So, when such a context arises, you should develop your capacity to lead the country in various fields. In academic field, in medical science, in engineering science, in technology, and in other matters related to the income generating process. And income generation is a gifted activity, not a sinful act. Not everyone can generate income. If I am entrusted with 2 or 3 crores, and if somebody asks me, you go and do the business and generate income, I can be sure of one thing, that within 6 months, I will become a pauper. Despite being given, despite giving my ability to gather 3 or 4 crores. But a good income generator is one who is able to make income out of nothingness. Take the example of Ford. The great Ford was the automobile factory. Ford engine, Ford car, Ford. Yes. And he knows him. So you learn better lessons from Ford. And be a leader, not an administrator. I don't say that administration is bad. No. Administration is the secondary stage. What is primary is the leadership. So, dear friends, you have to be the job generators in the concerned field. And another aspect is that don't go outside India to generate job. Don't go outside India. Be here. Be in your context and generate jobs within your context. Then you will be the best leader that the India can get. Leadership is not something that is related to a group of politicians alone. I am an accidental intruder to politics. So I know what happens there. But I would like to be known not as a politician, but not as an administrator, because Vice Chancellor is one who makes the academic administration possible, and Chairman is one who does the constitutional functions in the administrative field. But I would like to be known as a teacher, because teacher is one who leads the entire country to the horizons that is to be revealed to the students. So, my dear friends, you have to be what? The job, louder please, the job generators. The second aspect is that you have to generate job within the context in which you live. That is the best thing you have to do. Why should you go and get a job outside India? A technocrat with a higher degree goes to somewhere in Europe and does the job of a petrol bank operator. And I had the opportunity to meet such persons. Better educated, a man who was a professor in a college, and he left to England with his wife, and he was doing the job of the person of a salesman in a textile shop. I accidentally met him. I was shocked. Here he was a very great professor. Then I looked at him. Then he could understand me. I am sorry, sir. I am doing this job here. You need not be sorry. Why can't you go back and do the job of a professor in a college? But then he told me that I am getting better money. Better money alone can never be the criterion for anything. But better satisfaction from your job also is equally important as money. A person who makes more money may be getting better happiness. But I can claim that when I am before my students inside the classroom, I enjoy the happiness which cannot be enjoyed by anyone in the world. So, you be the leaders. A teacher can be a leader. A student can be a leader. A scientist can be a leader. A businessman can be a leader. Wherever you go, you have to discover new avenues and you have to reveal new possibilities. And that novelty in you is known as creative genius. And mind that there is creativity in every student. Not that it is gifted with only a very few. And I think that this girl is the leader of this classroom, or maybe this is school. This school. Yes. And she corrected me, the not of this classroom, but of this school. But I am sure that there are too many among you who can also enjoy the same status as she enjoys now, in a different field. You invest your energy, you invest your talent, you invest your creativity in a field that you like the most. Then you can be a leader.